way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
8:07 on AM 560. Let's get an update on the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Westbound 8094 traffic heavy, Martin Luther King Drive to Grant Street, where the exit is closed due to a major wreck this morning. See delays on the northbound Tri-State from Archer to the Mile Long Bridge, from the Stevenson to Ogden, and pockets from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. It's about Reagan Tollway traffic is tight, Farnsworth to Wheeler, and Mill to Washington. The northbound Veterans Memorial out into the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Eden's 19 minutes, like Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, heavier in the Express. Eisenhower, 390 to downtown, it's an hour. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 31 minutes from 95th. I-57, 27 minutes, I-80 to the Merge. Bishopport, 36. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Times of sun and clouds. It'll be cool today. The high 58, partly cloudy tonight, low 47. Tomorrow, cloudy with a bit of rain for the late afternoon, the high 63. Partly sunny, breezy on Sunday, high 64. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
47 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Mr. President, paraphrasing Shylock in Merchant of Venice, if you prick me, do I not bleed? Tariffs on scotch?
Oh, yeah.
Increasing the price of scotch? Mr. President, how could you? Where's your humanity? $7.5 billion worth of tariffs on EU products starting October 18th per the WTO ruling in America's favor. 10% tariffs on EU aircraft industry products, 25% tariff on farm goods, industrial products, including cheese, olive oil, fruit juice, jelly, seafood, wine, whiskey, and textiles.
There goes your cheese and wine.
Wine, whiskey, and textiles was the name of my high school tribute band to Iron and Wine.
Oh, okay.
You see what we did there?
I do.
Yeah. For more on this and, of course, discussion of the 136,000 non-farm payroll jobs created in September, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Scott Shellady, Fox Business contributor. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Morning.
You got a good morning?
Give us your read on the 136K jobs. Now, do it in this context. This from NFIB and their chief economist, William Dunkelberg. The inability to assemble work teams is a major contributor to the lackluster performance of the construction industry. Among others, 14% of all firms reported using temporary workers, unchanged from August. We still have a very high incidence, high number of employers, particularly small businesses, saying they can't find qualified workers.
Yeah, that's true. There's more jobs out there than people are looking. So there's a lot of, those are all positive signs. And there was a little bit of a disappointing number. Just missed by, we were expecting around 145,000, so missed by about 10,000. However, July and August, the revisions to those numbers were more than made up for what we missed in September. So it's a solid it's a solid report. I mean, it does definitely say that, for all those people that were hoping for a recession, you've got to keep hoping because it's not going to happen anytime soon. At least with these numbers, it's not going to happen. And another big headline number, which you'll see in the newspapers tomorrow, is a 3.5% unemployment rate. So there's a lot that the president will probably have to cheer about today, and he's already started. And and it was actually kind of funny. But I think it goes to show you that the U.S. is doing very well in the face of a lot of international economic turmoil as well as political turmoil. And I guess the question really is, and I keep talking about it over and over again, is how well or how long can the U.S. withstand these negative waves that keep hitting us from both Europe and Asia, because things are generally not very good over there, and it's definitely affecting our economy here. So if you take the U.S. on its own in a vacuum, you could probably make the argument that we don't really need to cut rates, right? But with what's happening in Europe, and I think if you ask them what the economy is over there.
Hey, Scott, you're fading out us in a little bit.
All right, sorry. Can you
back?
hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now. All right, so
Can
we've
you hear
had
me?
a few
Okay.
tumultuous days on the stock market, and then there's manufacturing jobs, which are, we're losing manufacturing jobs. Does any of this have to do with impeachment?
No, I don't think so. The market shrugged off impeachment pretty well. The thing that, there are some economists that are actually calling for an uptick in the U.S. economy next year. And I think that they're largely trying to model in there the fact that we're going to get something done with China, and the USMCA will be passed, the new NAFTA will be passed. So the thing that would really give this economy a boost would be those types of trade agreements, and that's what we really do need. We don't need to cut rates. Rates are so low anyway. It's going to be nominal, almost ceremonial cut of interest rates. It's going to give investors some sort of a good feeling, but it's not going to really be a big boost to the economy. And the reason I say that is that they're still cutting rates over in Europe, and it's not really doing anything either. So the impeachment talk, the only problem is with that is it would slow down getting anything done as far as trade goes, and that would be really, really good for the economy. But other than that, the market seems to be overlooking it.
What about what you just said, though, about how long can we withstand the negative waves coming on shore from the rest of the world? Well, couldn't we have a bit of a twofer if President Trump did what he could do without Congress, which is to unilaterally reduce tariffs rather than imposing more? It would be a boost to EU and China, and by extension, it would be a boost to us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's got that card still, in his hands. Obviously, it would be a boost. And everybody, there's been talk about that. There's been talk about what we, he's picking a lot of fights too at the same time, which is kind of hard to do as well. And I also think that we've got, there's some things out there that make me think twice, that just don't add up to me after doing this job for 31 years. We're going to have a headline unemployment rate of 3.5% today, right? That's amazingly good.
Right.
That's so amazingly good. We're going to have to cut rates. What? That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I mean, we've got a lot of not make sense things in our economy right now. It seems like the lower the unemployment rate goes, the less wages go up. So we've got all of these conundrums, these issues that are just not making sense to me. And that's where I think the economy is probably on a little bit of shaky ground.
Yeah, but would you say that those paradoxes, though, are the result of government policy that runs afoul of market forces? So, for example, $15 minimum wage laws are a downward pressure on salaries, on income, salaries, wages, salaries. So that would just be one example. But in this, really this government managed economy that we have, you have the market producing these results in spite of, not because of regulatory and tax policy.
Yeah, you're right. It's not even nature versus nurture. It's nature versus butcher, right? I mean, they've been butchering it, right?
Yeah.
So if they would have just let nature take its course, we'd be doing a lot better. But you're right. That's the government's fat hand screwing everything up and making these things not add up. You can't have a 3.5% unemployment rate and talk about rate cuts. You just can't do it. But we are, because, again, you're right, nature versus butcher. So we're going to have to get through a lot of these things, but the problem is we're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to happen fast because of what's happening in Washington. It's going to slow the pace down. And I think that
I want to get your take on this idea that comes from Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. He's suggesting that the tax revenue generated from tariffs on foreign goods be rebated to taxpayers in the bottom three brackets. So since many of these tariffs are regressive in their negative effect on consumers, then the tax revenue that's generated should be progressive in its distribution, and that would somewhat blunt the negative impacts on consumers, particularly lower down the socioeconomic ladder, blunt the negative impact on them of the tariffs.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that, And it goes back to this issue that, there's the unseen negativity of what China's been doing, right? Because what Trump's been doing with the tariffs, you can see how that hurts. And that wouldn't be a bad plan, actually. That would probably be a very good plan. But what we have to agree on is the fact that when you've got what they're doing with intellectual properties and when U.S. companies want to set up stakes over there, nobody really sees that pain and feels that pain. But if there's some sort of agreement that we finally get done with them, that will be such a big boost to our economy as well as the world economy that it's going to be something that I think would be the reason why some of these economists are calling for a much better market next year. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. Why not? I mean, I think that the bottom part of the economy could get a tax boost from all those extra revenues, and I don't think anybody would have a problem with it.
But what is the genesis of this? Is this to try and stop them from stealing our intellectual property?